Hey guys, it's Tyler from Peregrine, and we're back with another episode of Beard Care 101. Today, we're talking how I use scissors to keep my beard neat and even while still allowing it to grow and gain volume. Let's get going. So, some of you might be asking why scissors as opposed to something like trimmers. And while trimmers still have their place in your arsenal, scissors definitely allow you to trim to sort of a middle ground, whereas trimmers usually require you to sort of trim down to the shortest hairs to look natural. So it allows you to keep your beard neat and tidy and deal with any places that might be looking a little unruly without necessarily having to sacrifice the overall growth and volume that you've been working on for your beard. So especially if you're looking to gain volume and grow your beard out a little bit, it's a nice alternative to using trimmers every time. So the first step is going to be picking out a pair of scissors. I do recommend picking up sort of these barber style scissors for a couple of reasons. First off, they're easy to hold. The little prong on the outside definitely makes it easier to hold one-handed and use in a whole bunch of different orientations. Second of all, they're made for cutting hair, which definitely makes it a little bit easier to make one pass as opposed to having to come back around with dull scissors and, hack away. It's definitely a case where a sharp tool is a safe tool in terms of not removing too much hair and making a move that you don't want to make. The last reason that some people might not think about is cross-contamination. No one's going to be happy to find you cutting your beard with their fabric scissors or, scissors from the kitchen. So picking up a pair of, decent $10 barber scissors definitely removes the chance of that happening entirely. And it's a decent investment if you're looking to keep your beard neat with scissors. Once you've gone ahead and picked out your scissors, the next steps are fairly straightforward and simple, but do require a little bit of practice. So you'll definitely get better as you do it a couple times. Basically, all you're trying to do is define a couple key profiles in the shape of your beard. So the big ones for me are right along the side here between your ear and the bottom of your jaw. And then there's this section along the bottom where your hair is growing straight down. And then there's also where your mustache meets your beard. Now, these are areas that if they look, unneat or unkempt, it can give your entire beard the same impression. So by cleaning up these couple key areas, it is definitely a quick and easy way to overall improve the look of your entire beard. So let's get going. So the key idea here is to always be aware of where your scissors are and try to remove as little as possible with each pass. This is a thing where you can do a couple passes fairly quickly and get down to the level you want. You don't want to be taking out huge chunks or, chopping where you can't see where the blades are. So I'm going to do this in the monitor of the camera, but you would obviously do it in the bathroom mirror. So basically, you're going to come along and just sort of approach the shape of your beard and remove a little bit at a time. This is definitely, again, the benefit over trimmers is you can just remove a tiny little bit at a time and clean up the shape without necessarily changing it that much. You want to work slowly and just make sure that you're not being too aggressive. It definitely helps to periodically, grab a brush and just work the shape a little bit and make sure you're removing any excess curl because, straighter hair is obviously easier to cut and see what's going on. So you can see there's, again, a little bit of unevenness. You can easily remove. In just a couple passes. And there you go. We've already made pretty good crack on that side. Now what I like to do is do one side and then do the other, and then you can do the bottom. So get into this other side. This is where people's techniques will differ a little bit. Some people will use the same hand to do their whole beard, which requires trimming on one side of the blade and then trimming on the other, which can definitely get some getting used to. Other people will just switch hands. So if you're a little bit more ambidextrous like that, it makes it a little bit easier, but definitely try both methods and see which one works best for you. So I personally try to stick to the one hand. Now this is a little different for me because it's reversed in the camera. And another helpful thing you can do is use your fingers like your barber does, just to pull out the hair a little bit. And that allows you to trim it fairly evenly just by feel. So if you can't necessarily see perfectly, using your fingers definitely helps. And then we can go ahead and sort of define the shape along the bottom. Again, give it a quick brush. Make sure we're not missing anything. And this is also sort of where you can start to define the overall shape. So right here, where it's a little bit longer and doesn't necessarily match this even curve, you can come in and just remove, a little bit at a time until it matches the shape you're going for. And that's really essentially what we're working towards here. There isn't a shape that every single person can use. So it really just is about deciding on a look that you like for yourself and working towards that. So looking at pictures, getting a little bit of experience with different looks can definitely make this process a lot easier, where you sort of have to decide where you're going to go with it. But as you can see, it's definitely a lot neater in terms of the overall shape than it was, 30 seconds ago. We can just come in here and finish up again with our fingers, where we can't perfectly see what's going on, but by feel you can definitely get a good impression and even it out fairly quickly. As you get used to doing this, it'll definitely become a lot easier. You'll find where you need to hold the scissors to define the shape that you're looking for, but I think we've made some pretty good progress here. Once you finish up with doing the sides and defining the general shape that you're going for, it's important to stop and take a look back at what you've done. Have you removed enough? Did you overdo it? This is definitely one of the key lessons to learn about trimming your beard by yourself, especially with scissors, is when to stop and when to keep going. So take a general look at the shape and look, are there any places that are sticking out? Are there any places that need to be taken back to sort of fit in with the general shape that you're going? Essentially what you're looking for is, things looking out of place, and that is really the cause of your beard looking unkempt or unruly or just generally messy. Again, we've gone ahead and defined some key areas. We've done the sides and we've done the bottom, which is really where messiness shows up. The rest of your face will generally look a lot neater, A, because it's not creating part of the silhouette of your face, which is going to really highlight messiness, and B, it's often brushed down and out of the way, so it will appear neater naturally, or more naturally. So for the rest of your face, it's important to go relatively light and try to be as even as possible. So again, just remove material where you think you need to. And then once you get in to defining your mustache area, again, wear it like you would. Don't necessarily pick it out and remove more hair than you think is necessary. Sort of give it a smooth down. You can even use your brush again and give yourself an idea of what it will look like once you've brushed it out a little bit. So I can see again on the side here, it's not quite where I want it, so you can always go back once you've brushed it again and remove just a touch more at a time. And now the final step, once we've defined the shape and then cleaned up the overall, front-facing section, is to just go back over and see if you've missed anything, essentially. So we're looking for stray hairs or little clumps of hair that didn't get trimmed down to the same level. This is also a great time to make any final adjustments to the overall shape that you're going for in general. So, I can see a little bit that might want to be removed right here. But overall, I think we can probably call this one done. Again, I think we've definitely improved the shape and neatened the general impression of my beard without sacrificing a whole lot of volume. which is a great tool to have, especially if you're looking to grow a longer beard and get a little bit more volume, to not have to sacrifice that volume when you go to keep it neat and give it a little bit of shape. So the last step, once you're happy with, the trimming that you've done, is to grab a little bit of beard oil, and just a couple drops over the top will help to soften the, newly sliced hair, as well as, it's just a generally good thing to have on hand for your beard. And then you can grab a brush, just brush it through. And there you go. A pretty quick, simple, and relatively straightforward way to keep your beard looking neat and presentable while still maintaining the growth and volume that you've probably been working on these past couple months. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and otherwise we'll see you in the next one.